What's up everyone? It's Dave from Both Lighting USA, and I've got a really fun one for you today. This is the settings and overview video of our BPM-Beam battery-powered moving head. The BPM-Beam was released at the end of 2024, and it is Both Lighting's very first ever battery-powered moving head. It's battery-powered and it's got wireless DMX, so this thing requires 0 wires at all. A few months later down the line, we also released the BPM Spot as part of our second iteration of the battery-powered mover, and little known secret, we've got a BPM Wash coming later this year in 2025. But in this video, we're going to talk about the BPM-Beam. Of course, it is a beam fixture. It's 100 watts. It has a color wheel. It has a gobo wheel. And if you can see right here, it's got a halo ring around the light. So it's also got a nice eye candy feature for it. It's got a prism. It's got gobo rotation. It has everything you need. And most importantly, you don't need to plug in a single wire. I'm a wedding DJ in Philadelphia, and I can't tell you how much time this thing has saved me. I have been so happy with it. I'm really enjoying it. Let's do a quick little demo of the fixture, and then we'll take a look at all the ports on the back, as well as all of the settings on the front screen of the unit. At the end of this video, you will know everything you need to know before you purchase this BPM-Beam. Let's do it. Let's start by taking a look at the back of the fixture. From left to right, you do have wired DMX input and output, so it is possible to wire this into DMX, but of course, as you know, it does have the wireless DMX, so you don't need these connections. You also have your PowerCon input right here, and very important note, I cannot stress this enough, there is a power supply that comes with the BPM movers, and it steps down the voltage from 120 volts coming out of your wall to 33.6 volts. If you plug a regular PowerCon cable into this port and you push 120 watts into the battery, you will have problems with this fixture. So make sure that you use the included power adapter, the included battery charger. And of course, you've got your on and off button on the front, and that's all you need. Let's take a look at the front of the unit. On the left side, we've got your DMX light. So if it is receiving DMX signal, you'll see the blue light right there. You've also got your error light. This is a red light. If there is an error on the fixture, it will let you know there. You've got your LCD display in the center, and you've got your up, down, left, right, and OK buttons on the right side. If you press the OK button, you will be met with your DMX address, or whichever setting that you're in. Right now we're in DMX mode, so when you press OK, it immediately tells you your DMX address. If you press OK one more time, it'll get you to the menu. You have a full color LCD display here with 6 main settings. You've got your address, you've got your settings, you've got your manual mode, calibration, reset, and notes. Let's take a look at DMX address first, and it takes you right back to that exact same screen where you can use the up and down arrows to change your DMX address. You press OK to save your results. We can press the right arrow to get into set, which is your main settings of the fixture. So let's go from top to bottom and look at all the settings. Of course, you've got your run mode right here, and if you press OK, you have DMX, you have sound active mode, and you have two auto modes, auto 1 and auto 2, as well as back to DMX. It is possible to run this fixture in standalone mode, and you can wirelessly master slave this fixture to another fixture, the same one, of course. You can master slave a BPM-Beam to another BPM-Beam, and you can run it in sound or auto mode without using DMX. Of course, it's not preferred. We all know that using moving heads with DMX really gives you the full control of them, but if you need it, it's there and it's ready for you. So that's our run mode. Let's head down into channel mode. And what's funny is there's only one channel mode on this fixture. If you're running DMX, it can only run in 21 channel mode, so that setting stays exactly the same. You've got your wireless address right here, and I'm going to put a graphic on the screen that tells you what address connects to what color. As you know, the wireless DMX systems, the Donner systems, they use a color. So for example, address 1 we know is the red channel. Address 2 we know is the green channel. So if you take a look at that chart and you are using one of those Donner colored DMX, wireless DMX systems, this will tell you exactly what channel you need to set for which color. If you're using our Transmit Pro, it runs by numbers anyway. So if you match up the number right here to the number on your transmitter ID, you will be good to go. Next up, we've got your invert pan and invert tilt. If you're running this in master slave and you want the lights to do sort of like a cross pattern, instead of both of them pointing left, let's say one of them points left and one of them points right, you can invert the pan and tilt. So when you're running this thing in standalone mode without DMX, you can still have some really cool cross patterns going, even though the fixtures are doing the exact same thing, and that's because the pan and tilt can be inverted. Taking a look further, we have Hall correction and encoder correction. These settings you definitely want to keep on, and what happens is if I tap my mover like that, did you see how it just went back into its spot? That is these two corrections right here. If I turn those corrections off and I bump the mover, it's going to stay where it's at and be out of whack the rest of the time that you're running it. So you definitely want to leave these corrections on so that if the mover gets bumped, it goes back into its position. Signal keep is another very important feature. If you lose DMX signal, you can turn signal keep on, and what it will do is it will lock the mover in the last setting that it was on before it lost DMX. So for example, if the mover is shining somewhere and it is blue, instead of blacking out after it loses DMX connection, which is exactly what would happen if this is on off, it's going to just lock itself on blue wherever it was pointing. It's going to be frozen. It's not going to continue its movement, but it's not going to black out the fixture. So this is always something nice to have on, especially for uplights, because if your uplights lose DMX, then, you know, the room could black out, for example. Not so much with the movers, but great setting to have. Let's go a little bit further. Screensaver. Now, screensaver is on, and I'm sure you saw in the last couple of minutes here, the screen dims itself automatically. That is thanks to the screensaver. Scrolling down, invert screen. This is a great feature because if you are tilting, this is a great fixture. This is a great feature because if you are hanging this mover upside down on truss, for example, you want to be able to flip the entire screen around so that you can see and read the screen while it is upside down. So there's actually an auto mode here that will sense if I flip the fixture over, and it will automatically flip the screen. You can also manually flip it, and if I hit OK, you'll see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. The screen completely flips itself. Let's press OK and bring that back to auto, and it goes back into its original spot. Moving forward, this is your slave button. So if you want to use the slave and the master, you need to set this update slave to on the fixture that is not your master. Heading down, you've got your language. Of course, we keep that in English. You've got your load default, which resets this entire settings screen. And there we are back at the top. Let's use the back button to go back to the main menu. We can hit the right arrow to go into the next setting, which is called manual. Now, manual allows you to change every single setting on the fixture in order to get a static look. So you have your pan tilt, your pan fine, your regular pan and tilt, and you have all the other features, including the strobe, including the dimmer, the color, the gobo, the prism. Every feature of this mover you can set from 0 to 255, just like you would on DMX, and it will let this thing run on a solid static look. It's not going to be able to move around in this setting, as far as I know, unless there is a macro on the bottom, which it is not. This is simply for a solid look. If you need to use this mover to point it somewhere and leave it there and leave it exactly as it is, you can come in here and manually set that. This has nothing to do with DMX though. If you're running DMX, this manual screen you don't need. As you can see, I just got out of the manual and the fixture itself went right back to DMX mode. Calibration is the next feature, and when you click on that, you're going to see there's a password. This is actually a factory setting that they use when they're calibrating the fixture for the first time. We don't even know the password at Both Lighting USA. We don't need the password. There's only one time that you would calibrate the fixture, and that is in the factory. So it's interesting that that's there, but you can leave that and don't worry about it. You've got your reset button next, which of course lets you reset these three things: reset your effect, reset your scan, and reset all. Of course, I recommend this reset all button. If you have any sort of issue with the fixture, reset all is probably going to solve your issues. Let's head back and let's go into note, and this is just your note information. And this is just your information about the fixture, the hardware and the software firmware version, and it has some more DMX data and stuff like that. So if you ever need to get any in-depth details, here's your reset info, which basically tells you whether or not your fixture is running properly or if there's an error. If you do see this error light, then you'll want to go to this menu to see what it has to say. It will obviously not say system OK, it'll say something else. Let's head back. Let's head back, and one more time back, we are into our main menu. This is exactly what you'll see on the fixture as it's just running itself, unless you have that sleep timer on, which I'm sure in the next 3 seconds here, it's gonna dim itself and the fixture is running. You do have your battery life as well. There's 4 bars total. This fixture lasts easily 8 hours on a charge. I've done 2 4-hour events back to back with on time before the event even started for testing, and it ran perfectly. It was at 1 bar towards the end of that second gig, but it never died on me. So the battery life really is fantastic, and I had that thing running non-stop. Well, there you have it, folks. That was our overview of the BPM-Beam fixture. Now, some of you might be asking, should I choose the BPM-Beam or the BPM Spot? They're a very similar fixture, but of course the BPM Spot has a slightly wider beam angle because it's a spot fixture. So it's going to push out a much bigger circle onto a wall or onto the dance floor that you're pointing at. That can be good for grand entrances, to point at the grand entrance door, or first dances to point right at the dance floor. This is a beam fixture, so it's more used for those aerial effects to shoot beams around the room. It obviously works much better with haze. So this is the type of fixture that you purchase if you're in an area that allows haze, or if you're in a venue that allows haze. But also, let's say you're doing 4 movers for your event. I have done this before and it's incredible. You use 2 BPM beams and you use 2 BPM spots. That way, 4 movers, fully battery powered. 2 of them are beams, 2 of them are spots. They shoot a different type of projection out. They have different gobos as well. It's beautiful. So BPM beams, BPM spots. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you need some more help with your comparisons, and we will talk to you. We will get you all the information you need to know. Of course, we've got DMX and lighting experts available all the time, so please reach out to us, Both Lighting USA. If you hit the sales number, you will reach me. My name is Dave. I'm super excited to chat with you and get the right lights in your hands. Thanks so much for watching.